sure I'm recording. Oh, my brain is so freaking out right now. I just got done crying for like a good half hour talking to my mom. So, anyways, welcome back to the channel. We have some crazy stuff going on, including me getting a visit from the spirit realm today with them. By the way, they do, how do you want to say, affect your electronics. You can have your mother, your father, your grandma come in and turn on and
100%.
off. Yeah, turn it on and off your TV. What happened to me today freaked me out so bad. I had remote controls lighting up and going off and clicking away, and nobody was near them. There's no way that could have happened. And there's not a battery in there. It's connected to the electricity. So you can't say it was a battery going dead, because sometimes my husband will say, "Oh, explain it away. It's a battery going dead." Well, there was no battery. It was plugged into the electricity.
Oh, the
So
joys of being married to an engineer.
yeah, an engineer who's completely asleep 1000%. So yeah, scientist guy. Anyways, so we're here today because I personally, Sarah is here with me. This is Reverend Sarah Nash back again, my soul sister. We have both experienced all sorts of glitches in the matrix and timeline shifts and weirdness, to the point where we just are scratching our head going, what the F is going on? Like, seriously, what is going on? So I the latest two experiences that really freaked me out, and I asked all of you guys to comment in the comments, and you all came through and made all kinds of comments about similar experiences. I know you all are having these experiences because you all commented about them. But I had one morning where I woke up and the clock said like 6:38 or 6:39 a.m. And in my head, I was going, "Oh, yay, I'm going to go to the bathroom and go back to sleep for 2 more hours or 3 more hours before I have to wake up." And then I went back to sleep, and I know I was asleep for like 3 or 4 hours at least. And then I woke up and the clock said 6:27. It went backwards. And I was asleep for several hours and I was flipping out. I thought I lost my mind. And then I asked my soul family, Yeshua and crew, I'm like, "Am I losing my mind?" And then they're like, "No, yeah, you had a big timeline collapse." He said it was a timeline collapse, a big one. And then I had an issue where I looked at the clock and it was 10 a.m. I had just woken up. I went and I got my breakfast and everything. And I had a chat with somebody for a little while. And it should have been an hour, hour and a half that passed by at the most. I went and looked at the clock and 5 or 6 hours had gone by. And I'm like, "How's this happen?" It's like I was teleported into the future. And I was, and while we were having that experience, when I was sitting on the porch talking to my friend, because he was sitting next to me on the front porch of my house, we had a hummingbird that came up a few inches from our face and just sat there flying in our faces, staring at us for a long time, trying to have a conversation with us. Then we had a dragonfly come up and do the same freaking thing. So we were getting these messages, and it's almost like him and I were teleported because we were having a really intense spiritual conversation. And I feel like we were teleported or something into the future, because all that time had gone by, and it's like we were sucked into a vortex, and we were only sitting there for maybe 40 minutes, an hour or something. It wasn't very long. So anyways, I had a chat with, before I have Sarah come on and discuss this with us as far as what she's experiencing, I want to tell you what Yeshua said. So I am getting exhausted because for the last 6 years, starting in 2019, I started doing time traveling to shut down other timelines, what we call parallel versions of Earth that have dark timelines where there's nuclear wars, pole shifts, vampire. Like there's one timeline where vampires take over and
And
kill
the
all the
zombie
humans.
apocalypse too.
Yeah, zombie apocalypse is real. It's
Mhm.
real. That's in another timeline. I've seen it multiple
Got
timelines.
so many chills.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many dark timelines. Who created them? Well, Yeshua said, well, actually, I'm going to go through the notes and he's going to tell you who created them in a minute, But I asked him about me. I said, I said, "I haven't had like a normal dream since before 2019. This is exhausting. Like, what am I
Yeah.
doing?" And he said, "You are traveling through time that is rapidly changing, and that I have chosen to do this, and it has nothing to do with the stasis at all." Because I'm like, "Does this have anything to do with the stasis?" And he said, "Nope. This is something I made a choice to do. He said the timelines are collapsing to get humanity onto one singular timeline that they call the singularity. Um, let's see. So my friend Heather and I were having a conversation last week when we were in the car together, and she was saying that she thinks that the stasis might be different to each individual. Like she thinks there's individual people that are getting paused and put through stasis, and that the ETs have the ability to do this. So I asked Yeshua about that, and he said, yes, that is a possibility. He said ETs have already put people into stasis
Yes.
on an individual basis. And I said, why? And he said, because the dark ones are receiving walk-ins. He said, they're the ones that are being put into pause and individual stasis right now, not us. So he said it's not the light warriors and stuff that are being individually put into stasises. He said it's only the dark humans who they will pause, and then they put a walk-in into them to control them. So like your FAUCHIs and your PELOSIs, and like these politicians and people you see on TV. And they're acting like they're robotic and all that kind of thing. Some of them are clones, some of them are people wearing masks, but a lot of them are walk-ins. There's a lot of walk-ins. And so they get paused when they are receiving a walk-in because they have to be. There's no other way to do it. So this is how they get swapped out. So he said, I had this weird dream where I was in there was this mall and all this weird stuff was happening. And he said that was just another collapsing timeline like the others that I started doing in 2019. He said, he also told me that there are 80 Time Lords who are in human bodies on this planet right now, and I'm one of them. He said the 80 of you are systematically working together as a team to collapse all of these timelines, all of the dark timelines. And I said, how many are there? And he said thousands of them. He says that's why this is taking you years and years to do this. So think about it. There's 80 of us, and every night of our life while we are sleeping, our higher self is out there collapsing timelines. How many years will it take 80 people to collapse all these freaking thousands of timelines that they've messed up? So, and I said, who created these timelines, these alternative timelines? So this is going to really surprise some of you. He said the dark timelines were created by a combination of a group of people, including the Draconians, which are the reptilians, their minions, the AI lords, like the Omega AI Lord and the AI, whatever that is, the AI gods, the 13 bloodline families using CERN, the Nazis who are all still going. They've been going on the moon and Antarctica for a long time. The World Economic Forum, he said, is involved in this. The secret space program is involved in this. The Royals are all involved in this, and the Anunnaki, he said. He said all of those groups are working together to fuck up, excuse my language, but, mess up the planet. I dropped the F-bomb,
And
sorry.
some of them
But
aren't
yeah,
working together. I'm going to interrupt you here for just one second.
yeah, yeah.
Some of them have their own agendas.
Yes,
The negative alien agenda.
yes.
It's like, and so no, they're not all working
They're
together.
not all working
And
together.
and
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest problems that we had because people were working towards 0 point. And they kept like dividing it. And I know I'm just speaking starseed, but
That's true
basically
though.
I wanted to say not
Yes.
they're not all working together
Yes. I
because
agree. Not all
that
of
would
them.
actually be like, the
Some have their
empire.
own agendas. Some have their own agendas. Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Thank you for pointing that out. Some of them do have their own agendas, and a lot of them infight, which is so hilarious to me, is all the bad guys are constantly infighting with each other. That just cracks me up. But I asked him, I said, can other humans help to shut down all these dark timelines? And he said, no, they can't. But what they can do is pray for the Time Lords to have success. That's what he
100%.
said. So pray for me because I'm one of them. Pray for the others. And he said, pray for us to have success. Because there's 80 of us in bodies here now, and we're working our butts off every night. I mean, I'm exhausted. I wake up, and you would think you'd feel good after you sleep. No, I wake up with pain all over my body and totally exhausted. And it's because I'm fighting battles all night. every
Yeah,
night is a
and
damn
me
year.
too. And occasionally
Yeah.
Kimberly and I will cross each other's paths
Yeah, we meet
when we're
up
out
all the
there and we'll
time.
call each
Hmm.
other and we'll be like, "Do you remember XYZ?" Because I work with a group of people. There are 1,111 of us, 1111. And
Hmm.
so each group is separated and we call ourselves primes, but
Hmm.
there's a group that deals with the 999s, the 888s, the all the way down, and depending, and there's one person, and there's 1111 of us on this planet that works
Yep.
with a group. And so, but it's kind of like it's a Ponzi scheme in heaven,
Mhm.
darling.
Yeah.
Basically we have this group of people that work under us. So any one of you who are listening to this or watching this could be working with me or any of the other
Hmm.
primes out there. And
Hmm.
so it's just it's stunning how we are all connected, which is why they wanted to disconnect us, which is why they wanted us to have all this fighting, like the dark side is in fighting. So go ahead, Kimberly. I'm sorry I
Oh,
interrupted you.
that's okay. So I was asking him about what about all these weird glitches people are noticing in the holo. So like when I went down to south of France with Ashley that one time, what, a year and a half, 2 years ago,
Yeah. Yeah,
something
about
like
a
that,
year and a half
whatever.
ago.
Yeah, a year and a half ago, something like that. I went with Ashley um, to south of France. And when we went there, I literally saw the sky divided into two with a straight line all the way down it. And I had
Yep.
seen videos of that and I thought they were AI, but it turns out they weren't. It's real. It's a real thing. And I
It
witnessed
is
it and
real.
it was a glitch in the matrix. And so I asked Yeshua about that. I said, what about these glitches that I and other people are noticing? He said some glitches people notice are caused by the holographic false matrix being collapsed and taken down in real time, quote
Yep.
unquote. He said it will be completely removed by the time of the purification event. Whatever hasn't been removed by then, that thing will remove the rest of it. But they've been slowly removing the false matrix. And I said, well, what about, is that separate from the soul trap? Because I said, you told me that the ETs used Hammer of Thor technology to take down the moon. The moon created Soul Trap because the moon is a space station. It's not a real moon. I said, you told me that they took that down in 2020 with the Hammer of Thor. And he said, yes. He said, there are two different things. There's a holographic false matrix that we experience, and then there's the soul trap, and those were two different things. The soul trap was released in 2020, but the holographic false matrix, he said, is much more complicated than that. He said it has layer upon layer. It's very complicated, and
That
so it's something that takes time to remove it. It doesn't just happen, boom, snap the fingers overnight, it's gone.
especially in
Because
order to make it safe for us to
yes,
actually
yeah,
I know that there have been a lot of what I call fire drills.
yeah,
It's like rehearsals for
right.
the big event too. Because I mean it's well, anyways, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's good. What you were saying, I'm glad you interjected that because that's awesome information. Let's see what else. Uh, okay, so if you experience these weird things like mandala effect, time shifts, stuff disappearing in your house, like you put a crystal down on your dresser and it disappears completely and then it shows
What
up somewhere
the
else in your house,
heck?
or like my issue that I've told you all about on this channel before, if you've been following me, I told you about how I opened up a box of these earplug things that was hermetically, it had a seal on it that was glued down in the whole 9 yards. I took it off. I used a few. I went back the next night to get two new ones, and the thing was completely sealed like it had never been opened. And I
I
had
actually
thrown
think
that
about
seal
that all
out.
the time. That
Yeah.
takes up space in my brain. Like it has free rent in my brain. I'm like, I think about that constantly. I've had a few things like that too.
Yeah, no, it's just weird. And then things that I know I bought that I supposedly didn't buy, and
Yeah.
my husband, my children are like, no, you never bought that. When I know I bought that, I
Hmm.
mean, I just had it happen last night with Ashley, where I had this Ashley's my daughter, I had this eyeliner, I mean this lip liner pencil that I couldn't find. And then it turns out that there were like two that were bought and blah, blah, blah. And then I bought her one and I bought me one. And I didn't know any. I mean, this is all timeline glitchy weirdness, man. Just weird, weird stuff. So, okay, so this is his advice to all of you. Okay, this is his advice. He says, if you are experiencing these weird things like Mandela and time shifts and stuff disappearing, what he wants you to do is acknowledge it. You need to acknowledge it and tell yourself, I'm not crazy. This is really happening. Because the first thing your mind will go to is, am I losing my mind? Am I crazy? No, you're not. And your family members will love to attack you and say that, because if you have a sleep family like I do, immediately it's you're crazy, you're crazy, you're crazy. That's what their battle cry is always, you're a crazy conspiracy theorist. So basically, he said that acknowledge it, that it is part of the collapse of the dark systems. And then he wants you to move on. Do not focus on it. Do not create fear around it. Do not panic about it. Do not get anxious about it. He said, just mindfully notice that it is happening as part of the collapse and move forward. That was his advice. Just mindfully notice, oh, another time shift. Oh, another glitch in the matrix. Oh, I saw a crack in the sky. It's just another glitch. Because every time we are getting all emotionally sucked into that and getting all weirded out about it, it's actually pumping cortisol, stress hormone into our body. And it's just not good for us in
And if you
general.
can
It's just
actually
not,
put gratitude inside it, that you're witnessing this, because more and
yeah,
more of you are going to be witnessing this, especially those of you who
yeah,
have said, "Oh, I've never seen anything like that. I wish I could." It's actually pretty effing terrifying
yeah.
when it does happen. And I just had it happen yesterday morning. I was sitting out on
Mhm.
my back patio having a cup of coffee with my husband, and I literally saw the tree. We have this, we it overlooks Discovery Bay, and out off in the distance we have this huge pine tree that I've been watching grow, and Kimberly knows what I'm talking about. But I literally saw the tree split. Like it was like it the bottom half was here and the top half was here, and it was like all pixelated. And I just, I kind of blinked and I'm like, okay, I've been up for a half an hour, but and I turned to my husband. I was like, you didn't happen to see that? I was like, no, I was looking at the rabbits in the labyrinth. But the thing is that it was so apparent.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just, and because I'm 60 years old, I have to wear readers, and, but so, and I just laughed and I said, well, there was a glitch in the Matrix. And he's like, isn't there always? But I just want all of you to recognize that that means that you're one of us. And it does, and you're not alone. See, that's like the most important thing. That's my mantra. I want people to know they're not alone. So.
Absolutely. Just to go back to what I was saying, you need to focus on moving forward. And I will tell you that when I had the issue happen with the time things where 4 hours, 5 hours went by, I
Mm,
actually, for a minute, started to panic and thought I was losing my mind. It really
yeah.
freaked me out. And I had to pull myself back into center and ground myself, go out barefoot on the grass and get grounded because it really freaked me out. And so any of you who are listening, I know that you've experienced this. Don't get freaked out about it. If you need to go ground yourself, whatever, go do it. But you need to basically just mindfully acknowledge this is happening, and don't panic, don't get anxious, and just literally go sit your butt on the grass or do whatever and just come back into center and then move forward, and just like Sarah said, be grateful that we're actually witnessing this, because the normie people, who are still asleep,
The
they don't get to have these.
muggles.
Yeah, the muggles from Harry Potter. They're the non-magical people. We are the magical people. We are the magical people. I
We're all
need a
magical people.
wand. Where's my
You can
wand?
keep a journal
Pretend
too.
this is a wand.
You can keep a journal. I've
Yeah,
decided, I mean, I've had so many of these experiences. It's a shame that I have not really just kept a timeline of the weird timelines.
yeah.
But I am the goddess of redundancy goddess. But you can keep, like, if you want to keep a list. I mean, that would be kind of cool. And then, we could go back and take a look at it. Let's see how many people I mean, like if we come back to this in 5 years, well, in 5 years, it might be a heck of a lot different, and I hope so. But I mean, in 6 months' time, we can say, oh, how many of us on this date? And we could start like maybe even, oh, my guides are just now telling me, no, that's a bad idea. Okay, never mind. I literally just got a message. No, we don't want them to know where our chess pieces are. Okay, never mind. And you just saw that happen on real time, folks. Okay, never mind.
I
As you
have two,
were.
I have one or two more things to point out before I let you talk more about this. So I asked him what else they could, what else you all can do. And he said he wants you to be listening to his teachings that he's been giving through Michaela for the last, I don't know, 3 years or 4 years now. And so I have a link to her to her channel, and her website underneath, which is, what is it? My brain just did a fart. You know what her channel is, right, Michaela?
Yeah, it's
Medium Michaela.
I was
It's
just thinking about the
Christ Phoenix Rising.
Christ
Christ
Phoenix
Phoenix
Rising, and I was
Rising.
like, wait a
Yeah,
minute, there's a
sorry.
school. I think it has like a
Yeah,
school
it's her
name.
school. It's her school. So
Right.
she's basically, her and Yeshua have a school for you. It's free of charge. Okay. This doesn't cost money. It's on YouTube, and every video is a class from him. And some of them are set to music. She's been setting it to music. They decided to do that because when she was doing the longer videos, people were only watching them for the first few minutes. And she said humans have the attention span of a flea. That's what Yeshua said. So he decided that he was going to do these 2, 3 minute messages to you and teachings with music, because people learn with music, whether it's Mozart or whatever, you learn better. They have scientific studies on this, by the way. If you use music, you learn the stuff quicker and easier and better, and it really gets into your brain. So some of her teachings have music, some don't. Some of them are Q&As. Some of them are just teachings. But if you go to her channel, he wants you listening to all his teachings every day and over again. And they also have guided meditations, lots of beautiful healing guided meditations all throughout her whole channel. You need to go in and listen to those. Those are really going to help you. So that's what he asked me to tell you all to do. He said, I want them to listen to my teachings that I am presenting through Michaela. And it's like, yeah, and I mean, he presents teachings through me too, but not like he does through her. Hers are more like what he was doing when he was walking here, when he was in Jerusalem and all over the Holy Lands. His teachings are more like that. They're more in alignment with how he was preaching back then. So you need to listen to that. The other thing is I was arguing with my husband about the three-eye atlas, because we know it's a ship. I already told you all in my last video that Yeshua said it's an Andromedan ship that's housing the Raw Collective that's coming here to help with the transition of the planet. So I asked him, why is it that NASA, keeps saying it's a meteor or a comet or a floating iceberg? He said they have it cloaked so that they will believe that it's actually cloaked so that they will believe that, because they don't want the bad guys to know what's coming for them. They're about to get a huge whoop ass, like the biggest whoop ass they've ever had in eternity. It's an eternal whoop ass, like literally an eternal whoop ass. They don't want them to know their butt is about to get kicked off the earth permanently. They don't want them to know that. So they have it looking like it might be a meteor or a comet, but that's not what it is.
Given all
So
the technology that we have available today, even though they know damn well what it is, and it's just
yeah, they
it's their own confusion that they've walked into. So
yeah,
their own
exactly. And then
trap.
I asked him if he had any other messages, and his final message was that he is here. He's here now, right above the planet on the New Jerusalem ship, and that it's right because it was stationed between here and Venus, and apparently they came closer because we are about to have engagement with the biggest event in the history of the Earth. So it's about to unfold, you all. It's coming down the pike, and what can you do to get ready for it? He said, meditate. My mother came through earlier today and told me, meditate every day on how much God loves me. That's what she said. Literally sit and ponder how much we are unconditionally loved, all of us humans, that we are getting taken out of this false matrix and out of the imprisonment and out of the enslavement. The fact that we are being rescued out of that, but it's not we being rescued by someone else. We did the rescuing. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are involved in that. Our higher selves are involved in the rescue mission. It's not just some being showing up and rescuing us. Every human on this earth is involved in this whole process. So,
Yeah,
yep.
100% for sure.
Anyway, so I'm going to let you kind of take over now. So what else have you noticed about like some of these glitches? Like you were saying the pixelated. So what about the sky? So sometimes I look up at the sky and all I see are pixels. So what the heck is up with that?
One of the things that I've noticed recently is, and you and I have the same gift, we can look out,
Hmm.
especially across water, we can
Hmm.
see all the different types of energy. It's like
Yeah,
it's really
you see all
odd.
of it.
People, I mean, it looks like these little worms in the
Little
sky or
worms
something.
and
Yeah,
squiggles
it's and
and
if you can
things. Yeah.
see that, then you've got the ability to have second sight. And I'm going to talk about this in I'm giving a class, but here, just shameless plug.
Well, you should
Speaking
go ahead and plug it.
All
Yeah.
right. Well,
Yeah.
speaking to our spirit guides, how do you connect with them? Because this
Hmm.
is going to become more and more important, and many of you are going to start hearing things and feeling things and seeing things that you've never felt before, and you're 20 steps ahead of most people because you know they exist, right?
Yeah.
But it is really how do you begin engaging with your spirit guides? And there's a lot of fear there, even for those of us who I keep getting touched on the top of my head. Something keeps I just and it's like I keep thinking my hair is coming out or something. But anyway, so oh spirit, are you there? Yes, 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 Sarah, we are. So on October 23rd, Saturday, October 23rd, I will be teaching a really just a basic class, things that you need to know. Who are your spirit guides? Why do you need to talk to them? Because you don't. They'll talk to you and whisper to you and give you information. But essentially, you're going to be more connected. It's a choiceless choice. You've already agreed to it. So I know Kimberly and you and I, we have these moments where we're like, did we actually agree to this? Like
Hmm.
I don't remember. Like this goes against every moral thing in my body. Like, oh, but we did. We did agree to it. And the things that we didn't agree to, well, that will be handled by, the higher ups. Well, again, we if we've been coerced or lied to
Hmm.
get from point A to point B, that too will be handled and mitigated.
Yeah.
But so going back to if those of you who have the ability to see energy, and like Kimberly and I explained, it's almost like you can see like little shifting, like almost like when you look at a drop of water under a microscope, and you can see all the little squiggly things.
Hmm.
That's what I see.
Me too.
Especially when I look
Yep.
out, yeah, I know we've had some amazing
Yeah.
moments, and I've actually been able to train people. I was doing that back in Big Sur, and a lot of people, I would say like 9 out of 10 people, even if they were like disbelievers. And I actually had one from one of the local universities, and she was standing out across the sand dunes in Big Sur, and she closed her eyes and she opened them, and she's like, "Holy shit, I never saw that before." Excuse my potty mouth, but that's one of the ways that you can begin to
Hmm.
um, kind of acclimate yourself, if you will, to and I'm going to say this word again because one of your people are like, she didn't say the word right. Paradigm. Like I know, I joke around with words. It's one of my things. So, anyways, and Kimberly, by the way, big shout out to you for putting up with some of the most unbelievably mean. Like I have worked and as a trauma recovery specialist and behavior analyst, I work with celebrities and I work with a lot of people who have to deal with a lot of mashugana.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff that you have shared with me, especially recently, good on you for still coming out here. You're incredibly brave. So everybody,
Hmm.
let's give Kimberly a round of applause because
Aw.
it takes a lot of guts and chutzpah and more to keep coming out here. I mean, I thought some of the things that I get are harsh. Holy
No, I
So,
get some really nasty stuff. People say, I mean, that thing with them saying I was a man. It's like, well, you've known me for 15 years. I'm definitely
well,
not
I
a man.
also know your best friend from high school too. So,
Yeah, yeah, and you even know my best friend from high. I'm not. I'm not a man. Plus the fact that I vaginally birthed two children with my uterus. That's right. I have one of those people.
yeah, no,
Anyway.
I mean, I can understand why people would say that about me years ago on the
Yeah.
whatever. I had it because, oh, your chin's so big, you're probably a guy. And I was like, you know what is so big, you can see it from the universe. You know, you could see it from space. As my daughter says, Mom, you got BDE. So,
Well, my
anyways,
daughter has the same one, and I told her I want to trade because I have no rear at all, and then she has one. So I'm like, "Can I trade you? I want a rear. I don't have a rear." It's like,
well, that's
anyways.
because when we were going through the lines to get our bodies in the
Mhm.
pre-existence, right? You went through the line to get boobs twice, and
Mhm.
I went through the line to get butt twice because we kept
Right.
talking the whole time. We were paying attention. But anyway, so timeline glitches, to bring that bunny back around because we're going to wrap this up soon. But
Yes.
it is scary sometimes when I mean, I've had this experience, okay, and this seems to happen often with people that I counsel and work with. I know how long it takes me to get to. I live on the tip of the Puget Sound, and it takes about 15 to 20 minutes to get to the nearest store. And I have gone where I'm driving along, driving along, and I realize it's been like 45 minutes. And I'll get this moment like where I'm like, oh my God, what the heck just happened? And there's a stop sign at the very end of our very rural road that
Mhm.
kind of gets onto the main highway. And you know what
Yeah,
I'm
I
talking
remember
about,
it.
but
Yeah, I remember it.
and all of a sudden, I'm at the stop sign and I'm like,
Mhm.
what the heck? And I'll check the time and, 25, 30 minutes have passed. So I know, I mean, we now call it the Twilight Zone Highway because my husband has had those experiences as well, as have my kids. Now that's the interesting one. When my kids come in, my adult children, we still call our kids, kids, but it's and I've had people who have come to visit me who have not been
We
able to
had it
find.
happen. We had it happen, and I was even with my daughter, and the two of us were like, why are we not at the in fact, we thought we were lost actually. We had an episode where we went to see you,
Hmm.
and we thought we were lost because it's like
I
we were
remember
driving.
that. Yeah,
We
yeah,
because it felt like we were driving on that road for over an hour or more, and it really should have been 15 minutes or something, and it was
right.
like an hour, and it was like what the, and we thought we were lost. We were going to turn around. In fact, we did. We wound up turning around and going back, and then like we're like, no, we're on the
Yeah, I
right
remember.
road. What
Yeah,
the hell?
and
That was
so
creepy.
those kinds of things are, and I'm just going to tell you, people, it's not always an alien abduction, and sometimes it is.
Right.
But it could be angelic abduction, all right?
That too, to
And
prevent you from having a car accident or something like
or
that.
you're
Happens.
being taken and information is being downloaded into you that you need to have because perhaps your memories need to shift and change because
Yeah.
you've been part of a huge timeline shift where there was a war and let's just say God forbid but you lost everyone you love. And I've had
Yeah.
dreams like that. But and so now you're back in this place where your family's with you and and the birds are still flying and the air is still clean. So just basically Kimberly and I decided to go ahead and do this little message for y'all. Because we don't want you to be afraid. And
Yes,
and it's
that's the
going to
biggest thing.
happen. You're
Mhm.
and don't feel badly if you do have those moments of I mean, because I still do. Like I'm just like,
They're
oh,
shocking. It's
yeah, they
shocking,
are.
is what it is. It's kind of like a shock at first. It's kind of like, what the F just happened to me? It's just like a slap. And we understand that this is going to keep happening to you all
Yeah.
until after the event.
Yeah.
But the thing is that you need to pull yourself. You need to learn, put it this way, you're not going to be able to prevent these things from happening. Okay. There is no way to prevent it from happening. What
No.
you can do is mitigate your reaction to it. Okay, just like you do with, I'm a stress management expert. I wrote a whole stress, this Fountain of Youth book, that's my stress program.
Stop, drop,
You
and
need,
roll, baby.
yeah, you have
Center,
to
ground,
mitigate.
protect.
Yeah, you have to mitigate your reaction to the stimulus that happens to you. It's like, oh, that just happened. And then you need to basically label it like you would do in mindfulness
Hmm.
meditation of what is that? Okay, well, that's a glitch in the time, whatever, space continuum. Go watch episodes of the Loki show on the Disney Plus so you understand what we're talking about, because Marvel is disclosure. All of the Marvel comic shows that
100%
you
it is,
see
yeah.
is
And there are a lot
100%
of shows
disclosure.
out there that are
Mm-hmm.
disclosure. Not
They're
everyone in
disclosure.
Hollywood are the bad guys.
No,
And even
no.
some of the bad guys don't know that they're being overwritten by the good guys.
By good
So,
guys. Yes, there
and
are
I
people in
also
Hollywood.
recommend keep selenite with you, keep it in your car.
Mm-hmm.
Kimberly always has it. I have it.
Mm-hmm.
I just, I keep it in the side pockets and the doors, and I have some up in the front. Yeah, I've got huge, huge pieces. Keep selenite on
It's
your,
glowing.
yeah,
It's
keep it.
glowing.
I have it on my power
It's
bars. I have
always
it in
with
my
me everywhere
car.
I go.
Yeah, and I have huge, huge blocks of it too.
Yeah.
One of the things that you might want to try doing is
Mm-hmm.
keeping big blocks of this piece of selenite I got that I keep on my computer. It's, it looks like
Oh my
horns, darling.
God. All of my pictures just fell off the wall just now
What?
for no reason at all. There's some shit going on in here.
Maybe
My
because it's
pic
time for us to end the video.
my pictures are literally of falling
Well,
off.
you had a visit this morning too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a visit from my mother from the other
Yeah.
side, and she was affecting all the
It was a
electronics.
timeline glitch, Kimberly. All the pictures fell off because they didn't need to be there.
What the hell? It almost broke a $400 crystal singing bowl, which would not be good because I wouldn't be able to afford to replace it. It was a gift, and I
Well,
would not.
we okay, and see, but that's the other thing. That is a good sign. Good sign, bad sign, whatever. But we're going to be going through some earth changes here really in the next couple of
Mhm.
months. For
Really
sure,
extreme earth
we're
changes,
going to
extreme
have
ones.
earthquakes.
Hmm.
So, put your stuff. I'm looking at my office too. So, if you have valuable things, put them in a safe place. Hook up your china cabinets to the walls so that
Hmm.
when there's rocking that they're secure. So, anyways,
Absolutely. That's a good way to remind, and maybe that's why that happened, because that was more information I was supposed to tell everyone
yeah.
today, is that we're going to be, well, we already are having earth shifts, and some of these are being caused by the bad guys, unfortunately, some of the earth stuff like the weather and all that.
Yeah,
But
but Mama Gaia she'll reach
yeah,
up and make it better.
yeah. So Mama Gaia is actually shifting like crazy right now, and there's going to be a lot more volcanic stuff, a lot more earthquakes, a lot more landslides, a lot more water stuff going on with the water, like the ocean levels and the
So, here
rivers
what
and
we can
all.
do.
Yeah.
Just keep a travel kit in your cars, all right, people? Extra water. I mean, we don't need to panic, but
No.
we
Mm-mm.
should at least have extra blankets and
Just be
water and
smart.
things to give other people. If you're not being affected, and chances are you
Mhm.
won't, but to give it to other people who will be. And you can say, and that way they don't have to come into your house. And that's the other thing, roving people. You can just say, "Oh, I have extra blankets in my car." And then you go out to your car. You give it to them. If that happens, I'm just saying. But, just yeah, there's no need to have any major panic, but always be prepared and always have a prayer in your heart. There.
Absolutely. Always have a prayer in your heart. And as my mom and Yeshua keep telling us is I mean, he gave me a message to sit and meditate every day. And she told me specifically today to meditate on God's love for me. That was what she
The
said.
White Light Express has a prayer that goes out every new moon to every full moon. So
Mhm,
anybody, if you feel compelled, the White Light Express, just go to whitelightexpress.com, or, I have a Facebook page. And
mhm,
you can look at the prayer, because I pull four angel oracles at every new
mhm,
moon, and then I make a prayer. I'm I don't do it, that I'm inspired to do it. And so there's a prayer that you can say there too. Because I know a lot of people aren't comfortable with praying. So, you just it doesn't matter what words you use. You can say bibbidi bobbidi boo, and, God, I love you, and that's good, right?
mhm. Yep. So I found out some personal information when I talked to my mom that I think I want to share with everybody. I'm going to share it with you too. It just kind of blew me away. So I asked my mom, I'm like, do you remember what you used to tell me? Because my mom was obsessed with extraterrestrial stuff and Star Trek and all that. That was her thing. And she told me that the human body was that the spirit was made by God, but the body was made by extraterrestrials. She always told me that. And so I asked her, I'm like, you were a star seed, weren't you? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, what? I'm like, where did you come from? She came from Rigel. And I said, what were you exactly? She was a blue avian. She was a
Wow.
blue
Different
avian
kind
from
of blue
Rigel.
blood, huh?
Yeah, she was one of the blue avians. They're big birds. And I said, and I was laughing. I'm like, that explains why you hated cats so much because cats eat birds.
Well, thanks everybody for
Yeah.
checking in with us and listening.
Mhm.
And, if you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with either myself or Kimberly. Kimberly is truly amazing in her
Aw,
ability. And
thank you.
I know a lot of channels and a lot of mediums. And, I have to say, Kimberly, when you drop into your heart, there is not a more perfect channel on the planet than you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that's I think the key is staying in my heart all the
Yeah.
time, which is what I do. So
Your
just
heart is
always in my
golden.
heart, which is unfortunately why I get a lot of chest pain too, because I feel the grief of the planet and everybody around me and everybody's trauma and grief. And yeah, it
That's
just,
that's the joy and the hell of being an empath,
yeah,
an extraordinary empath.
yeah, yeah, which is why I started wearing this thing 24/7 that Carlos made for me because it's really helping me to mitigate a lot of this stuff.
I'm gonna have
So,
to go to his website and take a look at
yeah.
that. So,
Yeah, it's on
all
his
right,
Etsy thing.
everybody.
All right, thanks for joining us today. Please like and subscribe to the channel because it helps me to get more visibility. And also share these videos with people who are awake. Do not share them with people who are asleep. I'm not here to wake them up. The people who are not awake right now are never going to wake up until the event happens. So it just makes them angry when you share my stuff with them. They just get pissy about it. Then they come after me and attack me and say, you're going to hell and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, so please share these videos with awake people. And we love and appreciate all of you. We'll see you next time. All right.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Sarah, for joining me.